Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're listening in an audio format. My name is Justyna. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about the solar eclipse in Virgo, the second eclipse of this eclipse season. This is a south node eclipse as well. So whenever the south node is involved, this indicates that there is a karmic undertone, a karmic essence, if you will. So a theme of letting go, a cleansing and clearing away face as we prepare for some brand new beginnings to occur in our lives. So this is happening on the 21st of September at 29 degrees of Virgo. So we've got an anaretic degree. There are quite a few late degrees at the time of this eclipse. So we've got Saturn at a late degree. We've got Mars as well, of course, the Sun and the Moon as well, the eclipsed Sun and the Moon. So here, this is happening on the 21st. So if your birthday is on the 21st, happy birthday. This coming year brings some new beginnings, a major new chapter into in your life. And if you have any placements at around 29 degrees of one of the mutable sign, then you'll be even more well, significantly impacted by the energies of this eclipse. All right, so eclipses usually accelerate the timeline. Things happen very often. There are major breakthroughs, revelations. We've just had a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So here, wherever these eclipses are happening in your chart, these are the areas of life activated by these eclipses. For me, this is happening across my 5th and my 11th house. So here, my network, my friendships, and any groups I belong to are highlighted with this solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse in Pisces here is connected to self-expression, authenticity, healing of the inner child, children, romance. So I'm not yet sure how the solar eclipse will play out for me. I have a need for creating my own tribe and for expanding my social circle. This is definitely a theme of this year, but I feel like things will yet unfold. And with the Pisces lunar eclipse, I actually went to watch it and on a cliff, and it was a really interesting experience. I was quite amazed how many people came to experience this event, which was actually really fantastic. All right, so here, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the chart for this eclipse, and then I'll explore the energies. We'll explore them together. So, of course, it's a solar eclipse, so it's about new beginnings, but with the karmic undertone, which is the south node connection to the solar eclipse. It makes it also a time of clearing away, a detox, if you will. Virgo is a mutable sign, as you can see. We've got the south node circulating around the eclipsed Moon and the Sun, a tight opposition to Saturn. I think that's the main theme of this eclipse. But first of all, let's gradually explore the energies of this eclipse. So first of all, eclipses, of course, are indicate major turning points. Things usually happen. They accelerate the timeline. And with the 29th anaretic degree of this eclipse, this also brings a sense of urgency. Very often with the 29th anaretic degree, we feel like we're running out of time. We need to do it now. It's like never, and now or never, never feeling sensation, if you will. So at the same time, something must shift, something must be released with the 29 degree of Virgo with the south node involvement. All right, so here we've got the themes connected to Virgo, of course, involve health, service, anything to do with being organized, anything to do with perfectionism as well. And because it's also this eclipse sits on the south node, this eclipse also highlights any themes, any patterns connected to overanalysis, self-criticism, and the illusion of control. So if there's any imbalance in any areas of our lives, then here, especially in connection to these Virgo themes, then it will become much more visible, noticeable around this time. Now, directly across this solar eclipse, we've got Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and we've got an opposition. So here, Saturn is the planet of structure, discipline, order. Saturn is the teacher. It's also a karmic. Generally, Saturn brings karmic lessons. And this is the planet connected to boundaries, the issue of boundaries. So it's like a wake up call very often with Saturn's influence. Saturn um, could act as a wake up call overall, like a reality check. But at the same time, Pisces energy is connected to surrender, to creativity, to mystical energy, compassion as well. Yet Saturn in Pisces can feel like some kind of energy that is pulling us back to some unfinished karmic lessons. So here, Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in the sign of Libra. And here, generally, this also highlights the need for harmony, for balance, for peace. Libra is connected to balance and fairness. So themes around relationships, one-to-one connections, contracts, unions, partnerships, how we share the energy with others will rise to the surface around this time. So this is not the time to rush decisions, even though it might be difficult to resist. With the eclipse at 29 degrees and Mercury in Libra, this is definitely a time to have clear and transparent conversations, yes, but also this is about compromise, meeting halfway. So at the same time, we've got Mars at 29 degrees of Libra, about to move into Scorpio, but still sitting at those the final degree of Libra. So this is another anaretic degree at the time of this eclipse, happening at the time of this eclipse, and this generally amplifies the energy of urgency, maybe even frustration to a certain degree as well, especially in how we assert ourselves in relationships, in partnerships. So for this reason, clear and communication is very, very important because in order to avoid any misunderstandings, miscommunication around this time. All right, so at the same time, we also have a grand kite pattern taking place, as you can see. So it makes this makes this eclipse much more powerful and meaningful as well. And here we've got Pluto and Uranus, as you can see on the side of this kite. Pluto brings transformation, and generally it helps us to move away from what feels superficial, from what feels false. And Uranus is connected to shocking, unexpected event situations as well. Uranus breaks away from what's perhaps is not working. And together, these energies generally create a kind of sensation, a kind of energy, if you will, making it nearly impossible to resist change. So generally here, this is definitely here, this kind of energy is definitely helping us to free ourselves from whatever is holding us back, from whatever is stopping us from moving forward in our lives, from reaching our goals and aspirations, if you will. All right, so a little bit about this eclipse. As you can see, it's a really interesting eclipse. There are lots of interesting events and planetary alignments happening around this time. So, what we will do now, we will go and move into the forecast for each sign. And this way, you can understand how this eclipse will influence your life on a deeper level. So we've got the chart set for this for Aries. So we will start from Aries. So Aries, welcome. This eclipse, this solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo highlights your area of the sixth house. Of course, this is the area of health, routines, daily responsibilities. So this could be connected to possibly letting go of some habits, routines, even perhaps some patterns connected to control, perfectionism, over analysis. Um, yeah, especially if you feel like they stand in the way towards your growth, development, for example. And if you feel like you've been taking on too much, too many responsibilities, or perhaps if you've been kind of trying to micromanage every single detail of your life, of your work, of your daily reality, then this eclipse will generally help you to simplify your daily life, daily reality. Now, at the same time, we've got also an opposition to Saturn retrograde in your 12th house happening at this time. So this could indicate that perhaps some fears, perhaps some fears. Watch out for any fears, anxieties that perhaps might show up, come up around this time, because these energies will pull you back from moving forward. So here with these energies, if you feel like you've been just juggling on too much in your daily life, at your work, in your daily reality, perhaps if you don't find a healthy balance between your work life and generally your daily life and your private life, the time that you need or take to rest and perhaps spend time doing things that help you to unwind, then perhaps you might reach a burnout territory overall because of doing too much and not spending enough time on self-care, self-love, if you will. So generally this energies, Saturn here is generally showing you that perhaps you should try to also look after your health, look after your well-being, because otherwise too much work, too many responsibilities could potentially affect your health. Now with Mercury in Libra at 29 degrees of Libra, Mercury, and this is happening in your seventh house. This could also be connected to some important conversations, contracts, for example, whether happening in your private life or in your work sphere, in your business. Perhaps you might realize that you can't carry all responsibilities on your own. Perhaps you might realize then you need some help. Perhaps this could be about reaching out to someone who could help you to deal with your daily responsibilities, whether this is a VA or a PA, or perhaps an accountant or a nanny, a babysitter, whoever it is who could help you to deal with the daily reality, daily responsibilities, for example. Now, the Grand Kite involving Pluto and Uranus here in your birth chart could potentially indicate or help you to generally let go of any unsustainable routines that could potentially open doors to new, perhaps new opportunities, new forms of work, perhaps new sources of income, for example, as well. All right, so that's what I've got for you, Aries. So overall, as you can see, it's this eclipse is very much connected to your daily life, daily routine. It's here to help you to simplify your lifestyle overall. Right. So here we've got the next sign. Now let's have a look at Taurus. Taurus, welcome. This eclipse is going to activate your fifth house of creativity, joy, children, romance, the inner child. And this eclipse, as I mentioned earlier, is happening at 29 degrees of Virgo. This is a karmic energy. So here, with this energy here, and also the South Node involvement, you have an amazing opportunity to let go any patterns connected to overanalysis, control, perfectionism, and that perhaps hold you back from achieving your goals, fulfilling your dreams, for example. So perhaps if you've been holding yourself back from perhaps engaging in some new hobbies, interests, from starting a new business, for example, because perhaps you feared, well, perhaps you feared judgment, or perhaps you were worried that perhaps you would fail. This eclipse is here to help you to perhaps move away from this sort of thinking. And this is about reconnecting with what brings you joy, with what brings generally brings happiness and fulfillment into your life. So whether you will be embarking on a new journey, perhaps starting a new hobby, a new interest, engaging in some new creative projects, this will depend on your circumstances. But here, these energies are encouraging you to find perhaps an activity that will help you to find more happiness in your life. But at the same time, we've got Saturn retrograde in Pisces activated by an opposition coming from this eclipse from your fifth house. So here, perhaps your friendships, your networks, groups that you belong to are highlighted. So perhaps you will be also redefining your role within certain social circles. Now, this is also about thinking carefully who belongs in your life and who doesn't. Perhaps you might decide you want to leave a certain group, especially if you feel like you don't truly align with the energies of this group, with the people. Perhaps you had to force yourself to fit in, or sacrifice something in order to perhaps fulfill group expectations. So this could be generally a turning point and making you realize that perhaps you don't have to compromise anything for belonging. So this could also indicate perhaps some major shifts in your group circle, in some social circles, for example, that you belong to. Now, at the same time, got Mercury in Libra. The ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. It is in Libra in your sixth house. This could also indicate that you'll be implementing some adjustments in your health routine, in your daily life, for example. Perhaps this is also about generally implementing some shifts in your daily reality. It's all about simplifying your life, not overcomplicating your life. And at the same time, Mars is at 29 degrees of Libra. And this is also in your sixth house. So this could indicate a sense of urgency around your work, around your commitments, for example. And perhaps this is yet again another opportunity to move away from some unsustainable habits, routines. And this energy is pushing you to follow a healthier life, a healthier routine, a healthier lifestyle. Sorry, this is an opportunity for doing so. And of course, we've got the beautiful grand kite with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. So this could also indicate that this eclipse could bring some financial transformations, for example. And overall, you are generally letting go of what drains you, perhaps of who drains your energies, who stops you or holds you back from experiencing a sense of joy and abundance. So here with this eclipse, both eclipses actually, Pisces and Virgo, this is also about seeking authentic connections as well. All right, so thank you very much, Taurus. Now let's have a look at Geminis. Geminis, welcome. This eclipse activates your fourth house, the area of your home, the area of your family, dynamics, emotional foundations as well. We've got a south node activated here as well. The transiting south node is here, which also points to the need to let go, release anything that no longer serves you, especially when it comes to your home, family dynamics, for example, emotional well being. But also with this eclipse season, you're also redefining what home truly means to you. We've got the 29th degree of Virgo activated with the solar eclipse, and this is a karmic degree, an anoretic critical degree. Realize that perhaps you've been overly critical of yourself as a parent, as a partner, as a homemaker. Perhaps you've got too high expectations of yourself. Perhaps you're doing a fantastic job and you need to give yourself more credit. So this is a time to also be more gentle with yourself, to realize how much you have done, and perhaps to give yourself more credit, as I just mentioned. So we also have an opposition coming from Saturn. From your 10th house. So this could also indicate that perhaps some career responsibilities or some external expectations, forces might feel slightly heavy at this time. And perhaps you might be wondering or questioning whether your career choices, your professional path or direction comes from your personal choices, or perhaps does it come from a sense of duty imposed by others, by other people's expectations. So this energy could also make you think, what is it that you want to achieve? What does success truly means to you? Mercury is in Libra, the ruler of this eclipse is in Libra, and it is placed in the fifth house. So this could also indicate that perhaps you'll be having some important conversations with children, with your romantic partner about some personal goals, personal projects that you're engaged in. Perhaps if you're embarking on a new career journey, you will have to sort out things at home with your children and childcare, for instance. Now, Mars is at 29 degrees of Libra. And here, this generally brings this feeling of or sensation of urgency, especially in the area of parenting, in the area of the romantic side of your life. Now, any conflicts that occur around this time could really push you to finally make an important decision. So this could also be like a breaking point. The Grand Kite with Pluto and Uranus involvement further highlight a liberation from some old family patterns, home-based restrictions in a way as well. All right, so thank you very much, Geminis. Now let's have a look at Cancers. Cancers, welcome. We've got this solar eclipse activating your third house of communication, learning, your immediate environment as well, but also anything to do with contracts that you might be signing, decisions that you'll be making as well. We've got the 29 degree of Virgo activated, and also the south node is here. So this is about, this energy is connected to some major mindset shifts. Also, a shift in how you communicate and how you express yourself. We've got an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces at this time. Saturn is in your ninth house. This energy, this opposition might make you question your beliefs, your life philosophy, but also your worldview, your bigger goals, your bigger ambitions. You might realize that perhaps some old beliefs, old life philosophies no longer fit, no longer align with the person that you're becoming. The ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra in your fourth house of home and family matters. So this could also indicate that you'll be having some important conversations around family dynamics, emotional security and safety, anything to do with your living arrangements as well. Perhaps this could be connected to also your parents' involvement. Perhaps they might need your help, support during this time. And Mars is at 29 degrees of Libra, another anaretic degree, also in your fourth house, which for some, this could indicate a possible tension at your home that could potentially help you to finally resolve some long-standing issues. The Grand Kite present at this time with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. This generally highlights some transformation, potentially in some partnerships, in some relationships, some breakthroughs in friendships. Because as your mindset changes, as your worldview evolves, this also will attract different kind of people, different kind of individuals into your life. So there is definitely a shift taking place in how you think, in how you express yourself. Pay attention to any patterns connected to self-criticism or negative self-talk that could come up, show up around this time. Replace criticism with curiosity, because of course your words shape your reality. All right, so thank you very much, Cancers. Now let's have a look at Leos. Leos, welcome. This lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse takes place in your second house, so your financial area of life is activated, the area of self-worth, your values. We've got the 29th degree of Virgo here and the South Node as well. So these, the South Node and then 29th anaretic degree of Virgo, they symbolize, indicate, if you will, a possible ending into how you manage your finances, material stability, security. So there is a shift taking place of energy, and this eclipse could bring some closures around some financial cycles, or perhaps you might be changing jobs, careers, or perhaps the way that you earn your income, the way that you manage your finances could also undergo a major shift. Generally, with the activation of the second house and the eighth house dynamics, very often people change jobs, start new businesses, embark on a brand new professional path. So this will depend on your circumstances, of course, but there are possibilities for these major shifts in the financial sector taking place, in the career sector as well. And with Saturn retrograde in Pisces activated by this eclipse by an opposition, here Saturn is in your eighth house in the area of transformation, shared and joint resources as well. So this also adds additional dynamic to this eclipse story. So perhaps this could be about some financial freedom, independence. Perhaps you're letting go and of some old patterns connected to dependence or control. Some financial, emotional entanglement. For example, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra at this time in your third house of communication, mindset, immediate environment. So this could be related. You might be having some practical conversations around money, around contracts. For example, this could very much indicate that you'll be signing some important contracts at this time. We've got Mars at 29 degrees of Libra. So this adds a feeling of urgency. And perhaps you may need to sign an agreement, negotiate terms, and there won't be much time for doing so. You'll have to make a quick decision, but at the same time, make sure you think things through so that you don't get yourself into something or a situation that perhaps might not fully fit into your life, into your reality. Now, the Grand Kite with Pluto and Uranus involvement brings transformation, especially through daily routines, through your career, some shifts in work patterns, for example, work environment, work schedule, for instance, that could open some new financial opportunities, for example. Right, so thank you very much, Leos. Now let's have a look at Virgos. Virgos, for you, it's a big one, of course. It's happening in your first house. And this is very, very um, significant. Very significant here with Virgo energy. The first house is connected to your identity, to your physical appearance as well, to your sense of confidence. And we've got a south node here, the eclipse at 29 degrees. So this is most certainly a time when you will be reinventing yourself. Letting go, moving away from an old version of yourself. So here, this is generally a time of self-empowerment, a time to stop trying to fix yourself in order to fit in or belong. This is about embracing your true and authentic self without worrying whether someone will accept you or not. So here we've got Saturn activated in your seventh house. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. It opposes this eclipse. And this could generally here with Saturn retrograde activated. So the retrograde energy of Saturn in the seventh house could indicate that perhaps some old dynamics in relationships, partnerships may resurface at this time, showing you where you have overextended yourself, where you have overserved, where you have lost yourself in relationships, partnerships, for example. So this eclipse is in a way a turning point where you can step into relationships from a place of equality, not self-sacrifice. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra, in your second house of money, resources, possessions, self-worth, financial independence. This could indicate that you generally might be having some important conversations around about money, around about your resources. And Mars, the planet of action, drive, motivation, is at 29 degrees of Libra in your second house as well. So this also adds an element of urgency, of a feeling that you're running out of time. So this urgency is connected to it's around money, around boundaries as well. So generally, this for some this could manifest as perhaps having to make this important decision around money, around your job situation, around the business situation, for example. But at the same time, this could also feel like a step forward towards empowerment. Now, the grand kite with Pluto and Uranus involvement here, this could also indicate that you might be also going through some radical changes when it comes to your hobbies, how you express yourself. For example, perhaps it could be indicate some shifts in your parenting style and in the romantic sphere of your life as well. So generally, this eclipse could also make you think differently about relationships and how you fit into relationships overall, some kind of partnerships. And this generally these eclipses on Pisces and Virgo axis also change your approach towards love, towards commitments. But here with the solar eclipse in Virgo in your first house, you are generally reinventing yourself, your identity. You might be changing your style, physical look as well. It's all about liberation and letting go of anything that holds you back, makes you feel small, makes you shrink. And this would also indicate that perhaps you'll be letting go of some connections in your life that no longer serve any good or purpose, any purpose. So thank you very much, Virgos. Now let's have a look at the next sign, and that's Libra. So Libra's welcome. This solar eclipse activates your 12th house. 12th house deals with endings, healing, subconscious mind. So here at 29 degrees of the south node, this generally brings a karmic release, a time of letting go in a way as you prepare for this brand new chapter to begin. So this is a time to let go of any habits, any blockages, negative patterns connected to self-sabotage, negative self-talk. So it might feel like a cleansing away phase, a very profound one. And it's there's a lot happening on the inside. And this could be a time when you might need time to yourself, when you might want to withdraw, stay by yourself, contemplate, reflect. And if this is what you need, then definitely go for it. Saturn is activated in your sixth house. Of routines and health, everyday life. It is retrograde, it opposes this eclipse. So you might notice how your daily habits, daily routines, reflect your subconscious patterns, which I've just mentioned a moment ago. So perhaps if you feel like you've been overgiving or sacrificing too much, overworking, or perhaps generally not having enough rest, then this eclipse will most certainly highlight the importance of balance between work, productivity, and rest, healing. So at the same time, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra in your first house. And this also makes this eclipse very personal. It's a personal reset in a way. Mars is at 29 degrees of Libra, also in your 12th, first house, about to move into your second house of finances. So here, the 29th energetic degree creates this feeling of urgency, perhaps urgency to finally stand your ground, to take charge of your life. So you might feel like old versions of yourself are in a way dissolving. There is a kind of need for reinvention of oneself. And the need to perhaps be more assertive in certain situations with certain people. We've got the Grand Kite activated as well here with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. This also indicates possible breakthroughs when it comes to some family related, home related dynamics as well. So definitely this is an eclipse when journaling, meditation, dance, nature is very, very much needed for you to regenerate your energies, but also to kind of collect your thoughts and to realize which direction to go moving forward. So thank you very much, Libras. Now let's have a look at the next sign, the Scorpios. Scorpios, welcome. So solar eclipse in Virgo. This eclipse illuminates your 11th house of friendships, groups, long-term goals. For me as well, of course. I'm also a Scorpio rising. So a south node eclipse can bring some closures, especially with communities, groups, friendships that no longer align with your growth. So this could be a time of some strong realizations regarding your friends, your social circle, some groups that you belong to, especially if you feel like you're not really in alignment no more. Now, the 29th degree of Virgo, it creates that feeling of urgency. And you might see that generally connections that drain your energies will gradually fade away and dissolve in these upcoming months. Now, Saturn retrograde in Pisces is activated in your fifth house of joy, creativity, hobbies, interests, children, romance. So there's a tension here with this opposition. And this is also a moment to ask yourself whether you are sacrificing yourself, your personal passions and needs and desires, for the sake of fitting in, for the sake of belonging? Are you forcing yourself, or perhaps shrinking or making yourself small in some way in order to fit in into a certain life scenario, into a certain group? So generally here, this is also about being authentic to your authentic self, even if it doesn't agree with other people. So this eclipse could also bring to the surface any suppressed feelings, emotions, and especially regarding your sense of belonging, your social circles, your friendships. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra at this time in your 12th house, the house of hidden patterns, the house of the subconscious, spirituality. So this indicates there is something happening behind the scenes as well, and maybe there is a new friendship that's being created quietly behind the scenes. For example, maybe you working on some project or on a new collaboration, and something that generally will become more visible and more real in the upcoming weeks or months. Now, Mars, your traditional ruler, is at 29 degrees of Libra, also in the 12th house, about to enter in your first house, into your first house of of Scorpio. So this energy generally also reveals what's been hidden, and perhaps what's been unsaid here, especially here concerning other people, your connection with other people. Now we've got the Grand Kite as well with Pluto and Uranus involvement. So this also highlights some transformative conversations you might have around this time, encounters, and yet again, this energy is pushing you to let go of any draining energies, connections, groups, perhaps, because this way you open doors for new, more empowering connections, collaborations to come to you. So thank you very much. Now let's have a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, welcome. This eclipse activates your 10th house. So this is one of the angular houses in the birth chart, which also indicates that this is a very important eclipse for you because it activates a very important area of your life, of your chart. This eclipse here activates your area of career, reputation, life direction. So the South Node is here present as well, which also signals a possible end of a professional chapter, of a life chapter, of a career phase. And we've got the 29th degree of Virgo, which also generally creates this moment or sensation of urgency. And during this time, you also perhaps you'll be redefining or gaining a deep understanding. What is it that you want from this area of your life? Where is it that you're moving towards to? What does success truly means to you? Are you following your own path, or are you trying to fulfill other people's dreams, expectations? Now, here we've got an opposition to Saturn as well. So the solar eclipse opposes Saturn retrograde in Pisces in the 4th house. So this is also here about juggling home and career related responsibilities. So perhaps you might be restructuring your home sphere, your anything to do with your home family dynamics in order um, generally so that to find a healthy balance between the two areas, and also so that your either professional path or your life direction feels more sustainable. So any imbalance at your home could actually affect the flow of energies in your career. So you want to you want things to be working effectively, efficiently at your home, whether this is your routine at your home, whether this is family related dynamics, whatever it is, you need stability, grounding, sustainable energy in the lower part of your chart in order to succeed and experience a sense of fulfillment in the upper part of your chart at this point in your life. Now, the ruler of Mercury, of Virgo is Mercury. It is in Libra in your 11th house of friendships, groups, and networking. So, this also indicates that networking, collaborations, other people, friendships play an important role in your career transition at this time. With Mars, and also perhaps they will be supporting you in some way. Perhaps they will be helping you out with some home related responsibilities throughout this time. Now, with Mars at 29 degrees of Libra here, there is this feeling of urgency. And for some, this could be connected to perhaps some new connections, collaborations, and at the same time, perhaps also letting go of certain connection with groups that no longer support your growth and development. Now, the Grand Kite here is present as well with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. So this also suggests that you'll be going through some, or you might be going through some financial shifts, changes as well. And generally, for some Sagittarians, it could be a certain degree of transformation in how you earn, in how you structure your work. And this will be also a significant part, especially if you're starting a new job, a new career. So, of course, a transformation, a shift, a changes taking place in your daily reality, in your income situation as well. So, this is also about realigning with your bigger vision as well. So, thank you very much, Sagittarius. Now, let's have a look at Capricorns. Capricorns, for you, this is happening in your this is happening in your ninth house. So that's the ninth house deals with anything to do with your belief system, your worldviews, anything to do with far distance travel, education. As the south node here is a south node eclipse, which brings closure, ending to some outlived beliefs, life philosophies, and perhaps even some educational goals, projects, objectives that no longer fit in this current reality, your current reality. Now we've got this eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo, so this is a critical anaretic degree, which is connected to letting go and a release. And especially here with that ninth house influence, sometimes we want to control every single detail of our life. But here, this 29th anaretic degree could be connected to perhaps the need to have more trust and faith in the future in your life, rather than needing to have all the answers immediately and at once. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. This eclipse forms an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces as well in your third house. So this also highlights how your mindset, your thinking processes, your communication style might be shaped or affected in a way by any fears, limitations that you might have been experiencing recently. So, overall, with this eclipse, you might experience this shift of perspective, a change of mindset in a way. So, this eclipse is helping you to free yourself from any limiting beliefs or thoughts and fears in order for you to grow and for you to help you to spread your wings in a way. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury, and Mercury is in Libra in your 10th house of career. So this suggests that generally your change, generally this suggests that you're broadening your horizons and that your worldview is probably changing. But these shifts and the growth and the opportunities that you will be experiencing around this time, it's going to impact your life direction, or professional career growth, career direction if you're still in employment, if you're still working. Now we've got Mars, the planet of action, drive, motivation, at 29th, an erratic degree of Libra, also in your 10th house, about to enter the 11th house. So this also creates this feeling of urgency, especially around any career decisions that you might be making, for example. So generally, this is a time, this is a moment to when you might have to make an important decision, but this is about being clear about any direction you step into, anything that you engage in. That's definitely here the case. Now, the grand kite with Pluto and Uranus on both sides, this is a very supportive energy. This energy supports your need for transformation, but at the same time, there is a very strong need for you to free yourself, let go of any old beliefs and limiting thoughts and anything that generally blocks your ability to step up your game, to take charge of your life, to move forward as well. So thank you very much, Capricorns. Now let's have a look at Aquarius. So Aquarius, welcome. This eclipse activates your 8th house, so the financial house. So overall, this eclipse season activates the financial houses in your chart. So this eclipse overall is very transformative without a doubt, but also it activates the area of shared and joint resources, any financial entanglements, emotional energies as well. It's a south node eclipse, so this is an opportunity, if you will, to let go of any old fears around power struggles, vulnerability, control, dependency, and that 29 degrees of Virgo being so highly activated at this time. This is also about letting go of any illusions connected to control, especially in matters connected to trust, intimacy, partnerships, finances as well. Now, we've got an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces in your 2nd house of money, self-worth. And this energy could prompt you. This will also obviously depend on your circumstances, but this is about taking a greater responsibility for your own financial situation. It's about taking charge of your life, because here, wherever the North Node is present, which is in this your case scenario, it's in your 2nd house, this is a very fruitful time until mid 2026 to earn money through your own efforts, through using your own skills, through using your own talents. External help isn't always available or isn't always at hand. You need to rely primarily on yourself. So here, this eclipse also highlights, especially with Saturn retrograde in your 2nd house at this time, in opposition to this eclipse, it's about taking charge of your financial security and stability, of your financial independence. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury. Mercury is in Libra in your 9th house. So this also points to potential conversations, decisions that you'll be making. Libra, that's your 9th house, connected to any legal matters, education, anything to do with your growth, development as well. We've got Mars here as well, 29 degrees of Libra. So another a critical and erratic degree, which also creates this urgency, this feeling of urgency, now or never feeling. So you might feel pressed to or really pushed to commit to perhaps to a new contract, to a new settlement, for example. This is about also redefining your belief system. This is significant because perhaps some educational projects, for instance, but of course this will depend on your life story, your life circumstances. But we also have a grand kite here with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. So this also suggests possible shift, changes at your home. So this also points to a possible transformation and the need for authenticity. Maybe some hobbies, niche interests, projects, creative projects might be really, really therapeutic and healing around this time, because the moon doesn't feel comfortable in the 8th house. It can bring well, it can make you kind of worry more, or it can increase a potential for anxiety. So it's essential to also engage in some activities that create a sense of happiness, joy, pleasure during this time. So thank you very much. And finally, we've got Pisces. Pisces, a very warm welcome to you. We've got this eclipse, solar eclipse in Virgo, activating your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, unions, contracts. So we've got the South Node present here as well, which generally prompts and tells us about some possible karmic endings, or perhaps a turning point in how you relate to other. So this is very much about your relationships, one-to-one connections, unions. So at the 29 degree of Virgo, could be connected to perhaps letting go of some expectations you may have of others. For example, this could also indicate that perhaps you might be closing a certain chapter um, in an important relationship in your life, in a partnership, for example. Now, we've got an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Saturn is retrograde in your first house. So, this is also about generally oppositions are often connected to other people. Of course, this is very much the other people, with the seventh house being so strongly activated during this time. So, this is about also redefining how you show up in relationships, your attitude toward love. It's not about losing yourself in devotion or service to others. It's about maintaining clear and healthy boundaries. It's about maintaining, establishing a healthy balance between um, your sense of self and also your relationships, your partnerships. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mercury, and Mercury is in Libra in your eighth house of transformation, deep matters, deep emotions. So, this could also indicate that you might be having some important conversations connected to intimacy, connected to your intimate relationship, or perhaps the issue of trust may come to the light as well. Now, here with Mars at 29 degrees, also here, this of course this builds urgency, this feeling of urgency, and perhaps this need, strong need, inner need to address any imbalance of power or resources during this time. And this could be in your business partnerships, could be in your intimate relationship. Now, we also have the grand kite with Pluto and Uranus on both sides. This brings possible shifts, changes into your home, into your private life, perhaps some kind of a certain degree of transformation. All right, so thank you so much, Pisces, and all the best.